Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESOC Autumn Championships 2018. This is my first appearance, and I'm pleased to be back. I actually currently have quite a number of weeks off work, so it's going to be absolutely glorious. We're going to begin some of these days by casting with Mitoe, my buddy old pal, PrinceofKabul versus Hazza54321. Mitoe, how are you doing?
Hello, I am pretty good. I am ready for some AoE3, and yeah, it's good to be casting with you. I think this is the first time we've cast together, actually.
I think you're right. I've certainly heard you cast before, and then I told you the other day I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought you were pretty good. I thought you were doing a good job. So I think this will be fun.
I think I've probably heard you cast before too, maybe.
Are you sure? I don't often cast. Brilliant. Alright, so this match here, PrinceofKabul versus Hazza54321. This is a match from the round of 16. So the winner of this will progress through to the semi-finals. And then, yes, that is correct. I actually got it correct for once. So I am told that this is the mentor versus the grandmaster, so to speak. I thought that was pretty fun. We're getting into the whole narrative. What do you know about this, Mitoe?
About this matchup?
About this apparent mentor versus grandmaster. They're switching their civs around a lot. I heard basically that back when Hazza was a captain and he was sort of not so good, he was getting used to the game still. PrinceofKabul, who's been around perhaps much longer, took him under his wing, trained him up a bit, and introduced him to the team games, and now Hazza is quite possibly one of the best team game players in Age of Empires 3. So he's come a long way. But
oh, definitely. Every time I've played team games with him, I'm like, all right, which team has on? All right, is he on my team? Nope. Okay, I lost. But yeah, no, he and Prince definitely played a lot together. Should be interesting. I think they know each other reasonably well, so we'll have to see if they choose to change up their playstyles a little bit as a result of that. And looks like we're actually almost ready to go into game one. It's already an interesting matchup.
Manchuria. Let's jump right into this. Interesting matchup indeed. I can see PrinceofKabul playing India, but underneath that, what did he pick?
Hazza is playing British, which is typically not a civ you'd see people play into India normally. Normally this is considered a pretty good matchup for India, so we'll have to see if Hazza has anything up his sleeve. Yeah. I know that he thinks that British is underrated in this matchup, but I'm not sure exactly what type of build he'll go for.
All right, well, let's start with PrinceofKabul. Here he is in the south of the map in the colour blue, spawning with multiple wood crates as India does. Nearby we see a 50 wood treasure. He's going to be quite pleased with that. And there is nothing in the immediate vicinity. Let's take a look around, because I always think it's interesting to see what those starting treasures are. 90 wood in the back of the base. That's on Prince's side, so he'll be pretty pleased about that. And we have an 85 wood up here as well. I believe Mitoe will just be checking the hunts and all of that good stuff. So immediately, looks like PrinceofKabul is going to be quite pleased when he sees that. And as you said, India, quite a good civ, perhaps especially against British. And on this map, perhaps in particular as well, those big, beefy wood treasures that he could come across, and perhaps more importantly, the cows. He's found 2 yaks here, and he's got 2 scouts to find them with. Off to a nice start. This elephant's going to find 2 yaks right away. Let's take a look at the Hazza. Here he is in the north of the map, in the colour red. First mana going down, extra villager popping out there, and let's definitely the coin on the floor. Prince is really nearby. Luckily there's no decent treasures for him to find, but yes, PrinceofKabul definitely off to a flying start with the yaks.
Yeah, definitely going to be very good for him. Looks like Hazza is going to be picking up a yak of his own, also going to be starting on that 85 wood treasure behind Prince's base. Sadly, I don't think Prince actually knows about this treasure yet. He went straight to the middle of the map with both of his monks to try and find as many yaks as possible, so it's going to be a nice pickup for Hazza.
Oh, this wood treasure, yeah, that is quite good.
Yeah, it will be quite good for him. I wonder if he'll try to drop another manor. Probably just going to save it until transition, I believe, as age up time is pretty important in this matchup. As India tends to go for some heavy aggressive play with Seaboy and stuff like that, and Brit would like to be up as fast as possible to be able to defend that. But no, as I say that, he is actually dropping down a second manor. I don't know how much he chopped for that, but he may have chopped a little bit.
Okay, so perhaps delaying the age up, but certainly going to get an extra mana here, which is always nice. We'll see how that pans out a bit later on, but the villager, perhaps worthwhile. Up in the top here, PrinceofKabul, 3 yaks nearby. He's keeping them close. I like how both players have been doing that. Basically just hugging the scouts whilst they're treasuring. They want to keep the livestock nearby, not going to lose them at all. Picking himself up, 60 food in the top there. The 85 wood treasure still unclaimed, that one in the back. Sorry, 90 wood. So we'll see. That's the funny thing, right? I think treasures behind your base are perhaps ones you come to last, because they're in a way the safest.
Yeah, we've seen it more and more lately in like among top players. They tend to ignore everything in their base and just go straight out into the map, try and contest all the treasures and yaks and stuff like that as early as possible. And then you return to your side of the map and grab all those safer resources later when maybe your opponent's building trading posts or something like that, or they're also scouting their own half of the map. You know, it didn't really work out maybe so well for Prince this time. He is going to get a lot of additional yaks for it, which is good for him for sure, but he did miss out on the 85 wood. But I guess you could say that's a result of Hazza actually being on the same sort of scouting pattern.
Yeah. Well,
also leaving his base and scouting the other side of the map as early as possible, and getting the extra 85 wood for himself. So
nice stuff. Hazza now up to the next stage, Colonial Age in queue. All the villagers switching over to wood here, and up in a good time. It's the delay from that extra villager perhaps not being so impactful after all. This villager coming out now to herd back some of these serau deer, whatever they are, bring them home and get those hunts nearby. He's got a nice hunt behind his base, and this market going up in a fairly line of sighty position. Forward villager from PrinceofKabul here. Looks like that is going to be an aggressive aggro fort. How do you feel about this though? PrinceofKabul is only just about to pop down the age up with the one villager there, and has a halfway aged.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a late age up. He placed it around like 338 or 339, something like that. Normally you want to place the Wonder as India no later than like 3 minutes, or maybe 3 minutes and 10 seconds, something like that. Maybe earlier if you are really lucky, but it was a gold start, which does hurt India a little bit. He didn't get any wood treasures early on, just a 60 food. And yeah, it's going to hurt his age time a little bit, but hopefully not going to be a super big deal for him.
Look at the number of yaks he's got. I don't feel like it's gonna. Maybe he's not so worried about the super fast age up. That is one hell of a medium late game boost.
Yeah, he might even choose to just forgo any sort of trading posts or anything like that, just because of how many yaks he has. And you know, that by itself could be like almost a 200 wood treasure, so that's pretty good for him. Apparently, you need to move the donation bar. It's stuck on your UI on the bottom or something like that.
Where does it normally go? Like here? I imagine
usually goes up at the top.
At the top?
Well, like just below the player names, and you move the military and economic stuff off to the side, sort of thing. But if you can find a good spot, if you can find a spot for it, that's
let's
fine.
go in here for now. We'll figure that out later. Sorry, that was a very last minute thing, chucking the donation bar on the screen. I've not done it before. But I have now. Looks like PrinceofKabul is going to go and get that trading post. It's now just gone up. After that, there is a 55 coin treasure just above that. The elephant's nearby, which is going to be quite nice. As a result, that 85 wood treasure, he is able to get the trading post quite easily. Consulate going down in the middle of the map then, Mitoe. What do you make of this? Looks like Hazza is going to come and find it, though. That scout keeping a close eye on this placement of this wonder, and anything up going around it sees the consulate there.
Yeah, this is kind of the new way to rush with India, especially if you're aging up late. Not new, I guess it's just more common to see it now on the current patch, because Seaboy are a little bit weaker. So what you want to do is drop the consulate, ally with the British, get the extra 10% HP aura on your Seaboy, so that you can tank sort of those town center shots a little bit more. And this is a build that Prince has always liked to do, and it's still really good despite the nerfs to Seaboy. So I think he's beaten players like H2O in tournaments with this build as well, even.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how Hazza chooses to hold that. He's going for longbow pike, looks like, which isn't all right way to deal with this. But he only has 1 Rax, and he might not have a lot of units here. I think 300 export just came in for Prince, so he'll be using that to ally the British, get a few redcoats out. He'll be shipping 5 sepoy or 4 sowars probably, and then he'll be looking to push pretty soon.
Okay, so he's going to be coming in with a reasonably sized, you know, the few musketeer, sorry, the sepoy that he's created here, and a couple of those shipments from the consulate. Oh. That's a lot of longbowmen he's managed to muster all at once. Looks like 2 batches there, plus 6 from a shipment there. He's seen that consulate, forward consulate, so he knows roughly what to expect. As one longbowman, is it going to get caught out? Thankfully, elephants don't snare, so should be able to get away. Longbowman getting into position. Something I'd like to point out, though, is that Hazza does have quite a lot of hunt. He's kept very good job on top of this herding here, and has managed to got quite a lot of hunts in base. So any pressure coming in, I think the British player should be able to last a while. Longbowman does go down here. First engagement. Those sepoy aren't going to want to stick around, not without any cavalry, which are not on the map just yet. 10 more.
Unfortunately, it looks like Prince's army is all kind of split up. Redcoats were off chasing the British explorer. Meanwhile, he sent the 5 sepoy shipment. Unfortunately, sent that to his town center, so they had to walk to the middle map. So his rush is actually a little bit delayed here than maybe he would have liked, but hopefully not going to be the end of the world. It does give Hazza a lot of time to get set up. He does have some muskets out to sort of help him deal with those monks, and actually looks like Prince is a little bit dissatisfied with his rush time, going to be waiting a little bit, maybe for a 4 sowar shipment or something like that before he pushes.
Yeah, and the Caravanesi going down as well. Hazza keeping good eye on what's going on here. The Explorer weaving in and out, looking for any updates on what might be there. Hasn't seen any cavalry just yet, but I imagine that's what he's looking for. Also looking at the size of the army here. Going for the 80 XP treasure, and also extra XP from killing these. No reason not to. Hazza really going to go in there? No.
He definitely thought about it, and he was like, nah, I'll just die.
Yeah, it's a waste of an explorer. Be one hell of a dupe. What a steal if he managed to go and get that. But looks like a couple of Gurkha coming out here, and we see Blue getting into position to go in, which signals perhaps the Sawar from the Caravanesi are almost ready to come out and fight, which will be helpful against these longbowmen here. Outpost in a good position for this. On the front there, can see what's coming. Longbowman moving up, and Blue not ready to engage just yet. I fear the longer this goes on, I mean, we've got some Blue's done a good job of market upgrades, so he's being diligent. But you're up against the British, right? They have access to the manor houses that add extra villages. The longer this goes, isn't this just going to be a bit of trouble for Prince? He needs to make something happen.
Well, India's pretty strong in H2 as well, and oh wait, so here comes the push. There's a batch of Sowar popping out from the Caravanserai.
Yeah.
Sowar getting onto the longbow is going to be snaring. A few of the muskets dropping. And this is going to be hard for Hazza to deal with. Minutemen coming out, a couple Bills coming out to block as well, maybe soak up a little bit extra damage. But the longbows don't do very well against this army here. If they're forced to fight up close like this, they don't do super great damage.